All right, here is the speed run of Lake Constance, the Excel Esports case from the dock local chapter. Lake Constance is apparently a lake in the dock region. Maybe now I feel like I need to visit it someday. For now, we're going to start by looking up some data about it, right? So we XLOOKUP the date, returning on this first river here. And then we got to convert it is 24 hours, 60 minutes, 60 seconds, and 1,000 liters in a cubic meter. So all that, I'm going to call that conversion. And then round conversion factor times this to 0 decimal places. Then for here, it needs to be a label lookup, which just looks up on the row labels and column labels. A to K goes all the way. Row labels there, column labels there. All right, and then for this one, I'm going to go back to XLOOKUP, but I'm going to XLOOKUP instead of B to K, right? And then sum them. And then for the other two sheets, I'm just going to copy the formula text and then just put in, because the other two sheets are exactly the same format. So all I got to do is just change the sheet name here and grab it and change the sheet name here. Right, and then the net movement is this is in, and this is out. So then convert that to this. This is, I did these in the wrong order, didn't I? Okay, this is inflows river, outflows. This is other inflow, is the middle one, right? Other inflows is the middle one. So it is, this goes in, this goes in, this goes out. All right, there we go. Now I gotta do level 3 for every single day, right? So I'm gonna make this a lambda using OA robot. That is the input, right? And this is the net liters per day. All right, SLA, save lambda as. Okay, so now for every day, right? So sequence 365 starting at 2026, January 1st. And then what? By row, all of this net liter per day. I know it doesn't show up. Net liter per D, I think I called it. Yeah, there we go. All right, so now I need it in, is that liters per day or is that's not liters per day actually, that's cubic meters per second. But if I take this and multiply it by my conversion factor, now it's liters per day. I find the cumulative total of all of this, right? So this is the level in liters, and I need the level in millimeters, right? Which is based on the size of the lake. So I quickly fill in all the blue color like that. And then I count those up, right? So let me make a named range for this. Use MP for map. So count if on MP is lake, it's 552, so equals this divided by 552 divided by a million millimeters per kilometer. That's I think how that works. I don't know. I kind of did it backwards from the answer in order to figure that one out. Let's look up this on there, returning there, and then that also has to be rounded to 0 places, right? Because this is the liters in and out every day. Then you convert it, and you get the answer. All right. This is what? Contents to address of this on MP. So that's row times a million plus column. So I need the neighbors of it, right? So I just add this plus this gives me the neighbors. And now I do address the contents of all of these addresses on the array MP. This tells me what's there. And I'm going to get the flags and the word lake. So if this equals lake, then the other one, otherwise this one, and I don't want any blanks or anything. I got to clean up anything. So x2 call of that with no addresses. All right, so that's got to be my country flag. I hope. We'll see if this works on the first try or not. So now I look up the country flag in these pictures, right? You can just look them up just like there were any other data. Like that. And hopefully this will give me all my countries. Yeah, it looks like it. All right, so now I'm going to do beeline distance, which is just, a lambda based on the two addresses. So the distance from here to here with the Pythagorean type. So round that to 0 places. All right, and now we're going to do the maze. All right, so this map, I'm going to use the circular reference iteration thing. And in order to do that, I have to know which squares are passable and which ones are not. And the ones that are passable are either lake or city name, right? So what? Fair if the length of min A1, right, of A1 is, let's say, greater than 2, then 0, otherwise 999. And if it's an error, then definitely 999. 999 in this case is my shorthand for you cannot go here. It will never be the best. So, if I make this a little readable like this, that's super ugly, but it's readable, right? 999, so then there's the zeros here. Okay. Now I'm ready for the maze itself. So this is going to be the maze. So to do the maze, I want to keep the 999s on the edge, right? And then if, now I'm starting on B2. So if we're at the start point, because I got to find the start point. So if that equals, the starting point is this first city name, locked, right? Then 0, because it costs 0 to start. Otherwise, it's going to be your passable B2 to start with, and then I'm going to add something else in a minute. And what I am going to add is a movement grid. So the square root of 2, it costs square root of 2 to go diagonal. It costs 1 to go up, down, left, or right, and then you can't stay where you are. So that's, again, 999. So this is my move grid. So here for this self, I do the passable plus the minimum of the move grid plus the current cost and that space around me, including myself, right? The circular reference iteration. I have iteration set to 200, I think, on this in order to make this work. And yeah, it works. 1, 2, this is square root of 2. So now if I do address the contents of the second city on maze MP, and then round that to 0 places. Takes a little bit of a second to calculate the maze for each one of these situations. But, it's not super complicated if you know how to do it. 1,000 points so far. This river has the largest inflow, so it's by call to sum up the rivers, right? So by call this data sum and then it is what, the biggest on that returning the names, right? Biggest lambda just finds the biggest one and returns the other one. So the total inflow in liters per day is now by row. It's the same thing, but it's, it's by row instead of by call. So by row sum times the conversion factor. The max, right? The highest max by row sum times the conversion factor. What day is the water the lowest is the smallest of this on this. How many cities are in Switzerland? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And largest distance between two cities. Distance is level 6, right? So unique to call of MP will give me my city names, and then let's sort them. And I need to ignore the word lake, right? So I skip the word lake, but I get the rest. Now it is contents to address of this whole thing on MP is the addresses. So now it is the distance of this and to row of this. This will do every combination of these with the -1 style, right? And then I just want the max of this is 69, rounded is 69. And that's it for that case. Thanks for watching. Bye.